Welcome to this T92 replay here on Sand River, and the T92 is being played today by Black Gold Saw, and he's platooned up with Arkel, who's playing the Tier 8 French artillery. And the Tier 8 T92 LT is the new American light tank, and I actually quite like this little tank. Its top speed is not the best in the world. It only goes 60 top speed, but the engine power is really good. So it has really nice acceleration. It's just pretty mobile. It goes uphill really fast as well. It's in that respect, it's very similar to a T100 LT in terms of engine power to weight. And another great thing about this light tank is the gun, especially the gun handling. The gun handling is amazing. You can just auto aim and snapshot at maximum range with this thing. It's really good. It stays really accurate. The aiming circle stays really small, and in combination with the nice mobility acceleration, you can do some really nice work. One of the issues, or sort of issues, this tank has is that the standard ammo only has 175 millimeters of penetration, and but it's APCR, so it has a nice shell velocity. And another thing that is good about this compared to other light tanks, which you don't necessarily instantly see, is that this tank loses hardly any penetration over range with the standard ammo. Normal Tier 8 light tanks, they have the same penetration, or say 180 at 100 meters, and then when you get to 500 meters they barely have 160 millimeters of penetration. So that's a drop of about 20 penetration on average for a Tier 8 light tank over range. Whereas this tank, if you look at the ammo information in the garage, this tank only drops 2 millimeters of penetration over 500 meters. It still has 173 millimeters of penetration at 500 meters, which is, quite frankly, is quite amazing. I mean, the base pan is on the low side, but it consistently has this base pan over range, which is quite important as well. So in that respect, it functions very similarly to heat in terms of penetration mechanics. Heat doesn't lose any penetration over range, and the standard ammo on this tank hardly loses any penetration over range either. So that's good. And here Black Gold Saw has been a bit sort of semi-passive at the start spotting, and now he spots this VK on his team in trouble. And of course the VK is in trouble because he's an AFK bot and he's hanging off the cliff doing nothing. So yeah, very useful for one of those really heavily armored vehicles to not be in the match. But Black, with the help of another light tank, actually takes out their Batchat, which is really valuable, because this is a large open map, and the fewer enemy light tanks that are on this map, the better. And now Black spots this other Batchat going in, because he was no longer patrolling or policing the mid-ridge, so he's actually going that way. And yeah, another nice little thing of this tank is that it's really low silhouette, and the gun depression is 10 degrees everywhere pretty much. The only disadvantage is it seems that the view range cupolas, if you see the reflecting squares there, the view range cupolas are next to the gun, they're not on top of the turret. So you actually have to expose quite a bit of your turret to actually spot stuff, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, you can see how accurate these shots are even when humping and bumping about. They're pretty accurate. I mean, they're not hitting, but they go very close to the target, which is pretty unheard of for this kind of gun, and any other light tank actually. Usually you have to aim far longer for these shots to get close. And I've had matches in this tank where I was basically on the field on Kampinovka just doing donuts and consistently shooting enemy tanks on the basically at maximum view range that were granted they were standing still, but I was still hitting them while going full speed across the field from left to right and all kinds of stuff. So the gun handling is really nice. And the only thing that is not so nice about this tank is the DPM. The DPM is relatively low, especially for this gun. Only does 150 damage, by the way. It doesn't do 170 like the other Tier 8 light tanks with this 76mm caliber gun, because this for some reason still has the old alpha that was on it when it was tier 7. Which is a little bit annoying. So the DPM is not the highest. That is one of the things that actually could be increased, because in general all the tanks in World of Tanks that have low alpha have pretty much got good DPM on the higher tiers to compensate for the lack of alpha, whereas this tank doesn't get compensated, which is a little bit annoying, especially when you're trying to just get some fire down range. And I've played this thing quite a bit myself as well, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm not really getting that lucky with the teams, and I had to get used to it because it plays slightly differently than the American light tanks. The American light tanks generally are a bit slower. They're huge. But they have some nice DPM and some really nice guns, and this has really nice gun. It is on a bit of the slow side. It's not tall, but yeah, as a package I really like this tank. As a package I also like the Batchat 12T, even though I'm my team or my win ratio is terrible in it, but my performance isn't. I just like these little nippy light tanks, and especially on maps like this, there's so much room for you to work with. Black in the meantime is actually flanking the enemy team now. His team managed to actually hold on, and he's just spotting the RT at the moment. And there's an AFK IS-3 there. He keeps spotting the RT, goes on the other side of the ridge, and just puts fire into this IS-3, which is AFK as well. So I guess it was sort of even. Actually, is it? Yeah, it's an IS-3. It looked like a 110 from the side there. And now we see this a French TD coming in. Mr. Smelly Garbage thought he'd get an easy shot on Black, but Black was smart enough to just hide behind the rack. And now this guy needs to retreat unless he wants to receive a lot of damage. So Black goes around. Or the TD is spotted by someone else, so he just goes around and wants to surprise him from the rear just to pay him back. There we go, there's the TD, so snaps a shot in, and the TD tries to make a turn for it and gets killed. So that was a nice way to outplay that guy. Now we've got the T124 IS-3 in the middle and the T28 prototype there. T28 dies, Black pops out, tries to put a shot in, then humps this building and manages to still get away and not get actually killed by the TD. The right flank is not doing too well. Enemy team still has 2 autoloaders on that flank and a Yak Tiger. Black's team, the VK is still AFK, so technically they've only got a Super Conqueror and an RU. T124 thought to actually go for Black here. It seems Black goes across, and that's kind of gun handling that I mean. It's just so nice. Batchat tries to be sneaky and tries to get some shots in. Doesn't make them. Black shot goes under, unfortunately, and now he has his sight set on this Yak Tiger, so he wants to wait for the Yak Tiger to fire. Yak Tiger fired, which is the cue to go in. And another really annoying thing about this low alpha is, I mean, he didn't hit the track there, but you need multiple shots to track enemies, which as a light tank is both frustrating and really not how it should be. Honestly, in terms of balancing, I think light tanks should get a bonus when shooting enemy tracks, where even if they have a low alpha gun, it should have a higher chance to knock enemies' tracks off, because that's your mobility is pretty much the only thing saving you from getting killed. And if you need multiple shots like this, I mean, in a Black Dog or one of the 100mm guns, that would actually and friendly arty, these kind of guys just need to be damn banned. Stupid GB Tiger actually fired even though Black was clearly here. But yeah, takes out this guy. So he received 300 damage from the friendly arty, which was a bit unfortunate, but he managed to take out the Batchat as well. So all in all, a really nice ace tanker match. So let's take a look at the results and see what he did. So here we go, Black Gold Soul and the T92 on Sand River Assault. Managed to get ace tanker, obviously, got an Orlex medal as well. a scout and a patrol duty for a really nice respectable 1508 base XP, 3100 damage, which is yeah, pretty much as a tier 9 heavy tank. So yeah, can't really complain about that. Tier 9, is it tier 9 or 10? Actually, it's a Super Conqueror, so it's the tier 10. So yeah, as much as a tier 10 heavy. 52 shots fired, 28 hits, 22 pence. I mean, it's a low caliber gun. Quite a bit of ammo cost there. He did make quite a nice profit. Some bonuses as well. It seems that the New Year's bonuses actually might be this extra credits. But anyway, yeah, 3.1k damage himself, 3.2k. He did 2.6k assistance damage, traveled 6 kilometers, got a really nice XP haul for this one. So yeah, I really enjoyed this replay, and I hope you did as well. If you did, feel free to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys next time.